What's going on? All thanks for tuning in once again. Let's recap the fight of Ortiz versus Lopez. Another controversial one, a lot of people on the fence again. I thought myself that it was a boring fight, I was expecting a lot more from both guys. I mean, Lopez, he couldn't cut off Ortiz, it came down to that. The southpaw stance, similar to the Martin fight, he couldn't cut off the ring. He couldn't get on the outside. His lead foot couldn't get on the outside foot of Ortiz's lead foot. He couldn't basically catch him. It was like a game of cat and mouse. And I mean, the mouse ran away. Ortiz, he didn't exchange enough. I thought he could have done a lot more. I was impressed with him fighting southpaw throughout the fight because he is an orthodox fighter. But at the same time, he's challenging the champion, the Ring Magazine champion. You've got to do more. I thought that his corner was saying the wrong things. Round 10, they were saying, hey, listen, you just need to box these last 2 rounds and the fight's yours. You're fighting in Vegas, you have to do more than just outland the guy by a couple of punches. Understand when scoring is involved in boxing, it comes down to effective punches. It comes down to who's the aggressor. And obviously, who's got better ring, the most, who has the most control in the fight, ring generalship and all that. Defense comes last, is what I'm trying to say. So, I mean, surely Ortiz, he did have better defense than Lopez, but in this case, defense doesn't win games. Defense doesn't win the fight. Defense doesn't win in Vegas, it's plain and simple. Think Usyk challenging Joshua. He has the champion on the back foot. He has the champion almost knocked out in the 12th round. In this case, Ortiz is basically running and hitting. Getting away from the danger zone, but not committing too much, not putting in enough work to convince the fans. Like I said, people are on the fence with this one. A couple of people say that the judges made the right call. A couple of people are saying that Teofimo Lopez did win. And, in my opinion, I thought it was a draw. I thought that the first round was questionable. Round 7 onwards, Teofimo Lopez was landing a bit. And those last rounds, Ortiz needed to do more. Like I say, Ortiz wasn't really throwing any effective punches. Teofimo Lopez's best moments was in round 7 from the headbutt, and then he manages to, land a good uppercut on Ortiz. But I mean, like I said at the start before the fight, I was saying that Ortiz needs to throw a lot more punches. Think about Navarrete, a guy like that, throwing a lot more volume than his opponent. That's what Ortiz needed to do. You can't afford to be patient. You can't afford to just hold, clinch, and then run away and hit. That's not going to win the title. You have to take it from the champ. If you're not going to knock him out, I understand that Ortiz has less than 50% knockout ratio. I understand that. If you can't take it from him, at least exchange with him inside the pocket. At least try to push him back on some occasions. If you are going to be back foot heavy, throw some lead hand, power lead hand shots. Some power uppercuts, don't just jab and run. Just simple things like that, a lot more effective punches and just punches in general. He needed to throw a lot more punches to convince the fans, that he is outworking, that he is landing more effective punches than Lopez. On this occasion, he's just managing to be more effective with the jab and get away from the ropes. He's managing to circle away. He's managing to obviously, have the better foot speed. But, this isn't a fight in the amateurs. Had this fight been an amateur fight, Ortiz would have won, in my opinion. Because the fight's in Vegas, because we do have judges that has made wrong calls in the past. Fans aren't looking for guys that are not gonna, make it an action fight. People are showing up to see action. They're coming to see a fight, and they're watching a guy basically run away and hit, hold, hit and move. People don't want to see that. So for that reason, for Ortiz not throwing enough, not showing enough, not putting enough, work in, not taking enough risks, he's got to take more risks. Those last rounds are very crucial, going again back to Usyk versus Joshua. At round 10, believe it or not, the fight was even according to the judges. And Usyk wins the last 2 rounds, to definitely, claim the victory. And that's exactly what Ortiz needed to do. 2 of the judges had it 115, 113, so had Ortiz put in more work in those last rounds in the second half of the fight and taken more risks with some lead punches, he may have got the decision. I also mentioned that if he does clinch him, he needs to punch his way out of it. Or in other words, if he's deep inside the pocket, he needs to punch himself out of it, to show that he is winning those exchanges. By him running away or, being on the back foot, you could say, throwing, not getting hit, being more effective with the jab, that's not going to win for the underdog. Just understand, in boxing, the first thing that most judges look for is effective punches. Who's the aggressor? Defense always comes last, is what I'm trying to say. Although Ali's all about, stick and move, he also had power. Floyd Mayweather, when he was coming up, he also had power. He also had great counter punches, effective counter punches. In this case, there wasn't much of that. So I mean, I agree with the draw. Obviously, being in Vegas, I think it was a very hard fight for Ortiz to win. Like I said, he needed to throw a hell of a lot more punches, and he didn't do that. He didn't take enough risks. So for that reason, I don't agree with the decision, but I would have been happy with the draw. I don't think it's a robbery. I just think it was just that Ortiz wasn't doing enough to claim to be the Ring Magazine champion at 140. That's my take on it anyway. Leave yours. Look forward to the comments. And hope to catch you next time. Have a great day. Peace. Take care.